This is Moloch, or at least you'd be forgiven for thinking it is based on pop culture and a little bit of misinterpretation. Actually, it's just an owl. Alex Jones, in an act that bought him goodwill with the conspiracy community for about 2 decades, managed to infiltrate Bohemian Grove in the year 2000, right after he was wrong about Y2K. Bohemian Grove is basically an elite wildlife retreat held in the woods in California. Its members including U.S. presidents, heads of governments, captains of industry, and multimillionaires. All influential people, very hush-hush. Anyways, back in 2000, Alex Jones managed to capture some of the only known footage of a ritual called the cremation of care, in which a bunch of figures wearing robes and headdresses burned in effigy in front of a 40-foot tall owl statue. Alex, already dangerously obsessed with child sacrifice and anything he deemed satanic, turned right around and told everyone, "That's Moloch!" Basically, Alex was wrong. The term Moloch is thought to mean a power which requires serious sacrifice and appears in the Hebrew Bible, which tells of children being passed through the fire to Moloch in a place called Tophet, in the valley of Hinnom, in Israel, which, by the way, is right here in between Egypt and Jordan, in case you were wondering. I feel like a lot of people wouldn't be able to point to that on a map. Anywho, in this valley, folks found urns, also called Tophets, I guess, which contain the ashes of infants in an area which looks like a modern graveyard to me. So it is possible that deceased infants and children were cremated here and the urns containing their ashes were left in a place where the families could have a moment of silence with them. The whole idea of passing the children through the fire to Moloch may have been propaganda from outsiders who didn't understand and didn't particularly care for the practice, who depicted images of children being passed to a statue with outstretched arms and flames inside. The being depicted in these images is likely Baal Haman, who's like this whole other guy, but is also tied to human and child sacrifice in a big way. So wait a minute, what's up with the cremation of care and the owl then? Members of Bohemian Grove have stated that the effigy being burned here is supposed to represent stress and worry, so basically they start the whole 2-week shindig off by saying Hakuna Matata in the boldest way possible. And the owl, it's supposed to represent wisdom, so the whole thing is essentially saying, look, while you're here, you gotta understand we're chilling. Good vibes only. The owl representing wisdom is actually a pretty old idea, and is probably the owl of Athena. The Greek goddess Athena was said to have endowed humans with the capability of reason. She beat Ares, the god of war and combat, allegedly, and was really dope at basket weaving. Not my words, the Greeks said that. In Greek mythology, Athena, or in Roman, Minerva, same gal, was commonly depicted with owl imagery, like these coins here, which have her face in the front and an owl in the back. The person who gave Moloch physical form was, once again, Milton in Paradise Lost, where he was depicted as a brutish demon in hell who was super hype about waging war with heaven, quoted as saying, "Better to wage war in heaven than to endure in hell." A quote similar to Satan's "better to reign in hell than to serve in heaven," which also is from Paradise Lost. Look forward to a video in the future about how much of what we think is in the Bible is actually just stuff that John Milton made up.